Right, well, I've got my cup of tea. It's time for another Gran Turismo 4 video. The last time we covered Gran Turismo 4, we spoke about the fact that the GT series in general provides car fanatics with a giant sandbox to try vehicles and automotives from countless different manufacturers and countries. We also spoke about the fact that you can tune them up to the level you so desire. Instead of like last time trying to complete the game without any upgrades, we now have a new challenge to overcome. This time around, we will be limiting ourselves to British cars only. Or more importantly, cars from the United Kingdom. You know, I felt this challenge was rather fitting, given the obvious. Does this little set of islands possess the vehicles we'll soon need to reach the Gran Turismo World Championship? Do we have a large enough lineup to cover every format of races to reach the ultimate finale? There's only one way to find out. Realistically, the challenge rules are pretty simple. You can only buy and upgrade cars from the United Kingdom. If in the game the manufacturers are shown as their European counterparts instead of their British ones, i.e. Vauxhall and Opel, they are still usable. We also have Vauxhall and Holden, the Australian version, those are still usable as well, by the way. If we come across any races that simply can't be done in British cars only, the forfeit is that we can't use racing cars for the rest of the run. Given that the United Kingdom in Gran Turismo 4 doesn't really have many racing cars, that won't be much of a debuff, at least not until the Gran Turismo World Championship. So without any further ado, let's answer the question, can you beat Gran Turismo 4 in British cars only? As standard protocol dictates, we had to get the licenses done before we could start racing. I didn't go for gold and everything this time, as none of the prize cars were going to be usable anyway. We can of course sell the licensed cars, but other than that I just didn't really care that much. I was happy to earn the money within the races. Job's done, right, we are done with all the licenses that we need to do the challenge. What are we gonna get, guys? I wonder what it is. Oh wow, a Nismo 270R, I haven't seen one of them before. Oh wow, the GTR concept. Lovely. Even though I said that getting licenses didn't so much matter, we'd come across our first dilemma straight away. Cars from the UK in Gran Turismo 4 are hella expensive and you only start off with 10 grand. The very first challenge wasn't a race, it wasn't the license tests, it was trying to buy a car. It doesn't help that in Gran Turismo 4, a lot of the prize cars you win can't be sold for any money. You can sell them, don't get me wrong, but you don't get anything for it. Still don't really know why that's a thing, but it's just adding to the difficulty to start off the game. Fortunately, we just managed to scrape enough credits to get a starter car, but it's something I cannot stand. And now we can afford something, right? Oh, we're actually gonna have to use a Mini Cooper. Why? Come on, there's gotta be something else. No, please. Please, no. Oh, my worst enemy. My sworn enemy. Ugh. Eh, whatever. It is what it is. I hate it. I hate it so much. There we are. There we are, though, guys. Starting off the British car only challenge. Ooh. Why are we lagging? This will be the first time I've actually bought a Mini Cooper in this game, I think. Disgusting. Why are we driving this? Just before I get some angry comments about my disdain of the newer minis, I do like the old ones. I just don't like the newer models because why are they called minis when they're pretty much the same size as normal cars these days? I miss the days of them being little boxes, little Mr. Bean boxes. The OG Italian job, you know? But that's just me. We didn't turn off the traction control and stuff. Ah, the old Punto. I do like those, I can't lie. I can't believe the quality of the badge and whatnot on the back of the car there. I'm sure it will come as a massive surprise to everybody, but we managed to blitz through pretty much every single Sunday Cup race, apart from the final one. The Mitsubishi Eclipse looking car up ahead managed to actually blast away from the opposition, and we had a hard time catching it. Normally the Sunday Cup is just over and done instantly, no clean driving required, you blitz past everybody at the start, and that's the rest of the race done. I really love the new life that these challenges are bringing to the game. They have some engines with quite some potential for power. We might lose this actually, look at the leading car. He's driving too slowly. Come on! He made a big mistake on that final corner there. We can catch him on the corners. That's kind of what we expected to happen in a car like this. He's not that much more powerful than me, though, to be fair. I think we're just within slipstream distance. This Gran Turismo is crazy with that. Well, GG's, Sunday Cup annihilated. Can I go straight into the FF challenge and win? Unlikely. Not impossible, though. Even these. Close that gap in real quick. We're going to take him around the outside of the long hairpin up here. Oh. Here we go. This is racing right here. Sunday Cup and it's already... Oh, a little bit of contact made there. As a consequence, I'm letting him go. Oh, stop driving into me. He's going to brake much harder than we do, so I'm going to prepare for that. He's trying to follow me through this sequence. Now we're going to have to employ the block. And a race to the finish with just getting the win. I'll give it another go. I think we can possibly win it. I've just got to drive better and more aggressive earlier on. Early on, rather. God, this is so slow. We lost so much speed doing that lunge. Speed! Might just be able to do him up the inside here. Nope. Again, we could use the money, so why not? After about 4 retries, all of my honor disappeared. I can't be bothered to get upgrades for this fucking thing. Mazda 6. Ah, yeah, concept car that we can't even gain money from selling. Off onto the FR Cup next. So, unfortunately, we couldn't find an FR car within our price range just yet. So we opted for something completely different. Might go see how many laps the Mini Cup is. And quickly blitzing through the Mini Cup challenge gave me a car that I don't think I've ever used before. Oh! That's what we win from this. Can I sell it? How much is it? 5 grand. However, might mean that I don't have to buy something here. No. Wow, 70 millimeters too long. British lightweights. What about up here? Lotus Carlton, FR. Oh, hello. 376 brake horsepower. We can probably tune that up for the Supercar Cup as well, I'm sure. Having completed the Mini Cooper challenge, this had refreshed the used car lineup, which led to a very infamous getaway car being added to the used lineup. Yep, you probably guessed it, the Lotus Carlton. Back in the early 90s, one of these cars was stolen and used as a getaway car, and none of the UK police were fast enough to keep up with it. I mean, what's a little 100 horsepower Astra supposed to do against a car that can reach 190 miles per hour? So by the time the call rang in about a robbery that was taking place or people being held up, this car was already gone. Being able to reach speeds of 170 miles per hour, maybe even 190, reliably. I do have a soft spot for the old Vectras and whatnot because of the PlayStation 1 touring car game that I used to play with my family as a kid. Toka touring cars. So we're gonna have to get a 4-wheel drive British car. I'm pretty sure it's only this bad boy, but we can't buy it. We have to win it from somewhere. That's always hella cheap. Oh my word. 200 kilograms, just like that. Gotta be done. I reckon it's gonna be winnable now. In order to get the money together for the caterum, we quickly took the Lotus Carlton to the British GT series. Even with a couple of upgrades applied, the races still said they were 200 points each. The races weren't as challenging as the points would lead you to expect, but we still needed to drive relatively well in order to succeed. It was great racing against what would now be considered classic British cars. A lot of these still look pretty modern to me, and I miss when cars had character like this. In the point system. Lovely. Are we done? Yes, we are. Well, that's the caterum got bought, and dirt tires for the Carlton. And also an E-Type Jag, I want to say. Yes. You love to see it. In red as well, cheeky. Begin day 2 of the British Cars Only Challenge, or UK Cars Only Challenge. We have come across an issue in being that there's only one car you can get in Gran Turismo 4 which can enter this from the UK. And the only way you get that is by winning it by doing this very challenge right here. Now, I've done a little digging, and there is actually another car from the UK you can get which can enter that. However, this is considered a special car and it can't be used for any races. So I did a little bit more digging and found a way of getting around that limitation. So it is now possible for us to use this car later on, so I'm going to be grinding for the credits to buy it. It is messing around with the game code, but I looked even further into the reasons why we can't use this particular car right here in the game. And the special cars in this game generally weren't used because they had more effort and work put into them, so they were highly detailed polygons, all that sort of stuff, and the PS2 just simply wasn't able to handle the level of quality that the cars had. Anyway, we now have to get what we're having it in. British Racing Green. It's got to be done. As you can see, length limit, it's within that. So yes, it must be done. It's a necessary evil. All cars that are in this game, I'm of the opinion they should all be drivable and raceable. But at the same time, we'll add some ballast to make it a little bit more fair. And what we're going to do as well is give them a little bit of a head start as a goodwill gesture. But even with the 200 kilograms of ballast added, it's still a lovely little car. The gears are a bit slow though, I've noticed. Sorry, big boxy Japanese mini weird strange looking vehicles that I love the look of. They're just so funky. Beat it. Does that look like a PS2 game model to you at the front? Cut up the inside, easy peasy. That's the lightweight K-Car Cup done with the glorious, lovely caterum that unfortunately you can't normally drive. Alright, so the next event we have to do is the 4-wheel drive. Now, for anyone that doesn't know, in the UK car list, the only 4-wheel drive car we can use is this. And the only way you can win this is by going and doing rally events, so... And so we took the Lotus Carlton rally raiding.
Bye, have a great time.
Oh, Lord. Oh, no. All right, retry. God damn, get a wing. Yeah, I think I'm going to. Yeah. Now let's see if he can keep up. It was definitely an interesting experience using a very heavy, highly powered FR car for a rally race. The car in question was very, very sensitive to any input on the throttle. It took a lot of concentration and very, very, very careful throttle control for me to not spin out. Yeah, sure, sometimes the power came in handy to stop a spin from happening, but yeah, let's be real, it was mostly just causing spins. Car really wants the fishtail. Oh no. And here we go. That's the last of the rallying done for now. That should be the Land Rover acquired so we can go do the four-wheel drive races. Look at that behemoth. Range Stormer. Alright, as we can't use that Subaru, I'm just going to go ahead and sell it wherever it is. Hey, cheeky 160k. Love that car as well, but goodbye. Right, let's remember to go ahead and get some oil this time. Can you put a wing on it? No. 368 brake horsepower. Right, here we go, chat. Moment of truth. Is this car good enough from the get-go, or do we need to tune it up? I don't see us needing any driving aids. How much does it weigh? I think it was like 200 or 2,000 kilograms, right? Oh my. Beefy sound to it, though. Whoa, it's hanging. It's hanging all right. Oh, that fourth gear is very bogged up. Whoa! Whoa! Are you seeing this? Imagine having this behemoth racing next to you. Bloody hell. Under heavy braking, the car pretty much ended up looking directly at the floor. And every time, in my mind, it just had me thinking of this one lorry meme. It feels like we're face planting the floor every time I brake. Whoa. We might have to add suspension upgrades. Brakes are actually really good though. Very surprised to see how easy that was. 126-point race. Fortunately for us, the Land Rover didn't end up breaking down, so we were able to finish first in all of the four-wheel drive races. Aren't we lucky? Glorified wheelchair car. Spider and Roadster convertibles. I assume all the Elises are going to be fine with that. We needed MR car, didn't we? Yeah. Kind of like getting that. 860 kilograms. For the MR Cup, we of course picked up the cheeky Lotus Elise. This car has quite the insane power to weight ratio, and naturally being so light, it's insane in the corners. So not only is it fast to begin with, but you can maintain that pace even whilst cornering. This meant we pretty much didn't need to upgrade it, and it's also future-proofing for further races down the line. I'm sure there'll be more races that we can use it for. Easy peasy. 10 points. A field of mostly Lotuses. I'm surprised going over the curb didn't upset the car. Did nothing. Didn't give a damn. Love those MR2s. It was the boss car of a PS1 game I played. Max Power Racing. That's entirely drifting around on its own. I wasn't steering at all there. Ah, spoil sport. Right, MR races annihilated. Oh, hello. And already here we are using the Elise once again for the Spider and Roadster races. This was pretty damn easy as well. They got no chance. Look at this dude. Love to hear it. Or see it in this case. I'm reading text, not hearing it. Then again, just a complete new experience in a game that's 20 years old. You know, people always say that gaming is dead and games are boring these days, but if you can go back to older games and make them fun, you can do, surely you can do the same with newer games. You just got to find the challenges, find what you want to achieve, give yourself a goal in these games. And yeah, sure, there will be games out there that aren't fun, just naturally aren't fun. It is what it is. But that's not to say... Just keep an open mind and, you know, you'll have a better time. Let me spin! Assassin's Creed 6. Right. It would just be the sport truck race and then we're done with the beginner events. Unfortunately, there are no sport trucks from the UK. And that's the end of the video. Thank you very much for watching. Goodbye. Obviously I'm joking here, but evidently it's not possible to complete the game in just British cars only. But now, of course, as we've had to buy a truck from America, we're going to receive the debuff of not being able to use race cars. So can we still finish the game with that nerf in mind? I suppose we'll have to find out. So we're how far into the game? Across the pond to our friends in the USA and borrow a F-150. Now we can just pretend that the Civil War never happened and the UK and the USA are still in an alliance. Would you like to form an alliance? We'll have it in black this time. So we had it in blue before. We've got a Silverado to contend with, but it's a 10-point race apparently. What a weird machine that is. We broke the rules. We joined the American team. Whoops. Off-road trucking. I saw one of these in real life the other day as well, which is exceptionally rare for the UK. F-150s. The old one as well. Really nice. Well, easy peasy so far. Just unfortunately not British, is it? Silverado's shooting off. I'm gonna get you, Mr. Red Silverado. Just visited the beach real quick. Whoa! I imagine truck races would have been fun on multiplayer. GG. Lovely jubbly. Give me that Silverado. After briefly having to borrow a truck from our American friends, we were finally ready to tackle the professional events. So in preparation for that, I decided to tune up the Lotus Carlton a little bit more. I knew we'd be using it a fair bit, especially because the car is just over 30 years old now, so we're kind of honouring the anniversary a little bit. And to be brutally honest with you, I've been loving how it drives. It has some of the best brakes in Gran Turismo 4 as far as I can tell. And being a car, which is pretty much just a turbocharged brick, you definitely need good brakes. I wish my Vauxhall in real life had brakes as good as this, goddamn. Jumping straight into the Clubman Cup, we'd evidently upgraded the Carlton a little bit too much considering it's only 2 points per race. But I'm sure even with all these upgrades, there'll be some races further down the line, which will give us a run for our money. Now it gets interesting. Or does it? If we're having wheel spin problems already, if I add turbos, it's just going to go insane. Because we've already got soft tyres on. Yeah, we're definitely going to have some tough racing here. After working tirelessly to even reach a podium position within the Tuning Car Championship, I decided to throw in the towel and go and get some more upgrades. And we're out of nitro. Right at the end as well. Yeah, I think we're going to admit defeat, abandon the championship and get some more upgrades. So we will be able to use this for Supercar Cup. Let's try it again. Oh, that handles so much better now. Nice to see an R34 in here for a change. That S2000 is so bright. Brightly coloured. Yeah, this is emulated. Clean bit of racing there. With the car now being slightly lighter and with an uprated suspension, we had slightly better acceleration and our ability to maintain speed through corners had been improved a fair bit. Would this be enough to contest the strong opposition in the Tuning Car Championship? Well, let's find out, shall we? Chernobyl green right there. So I can't be bothered setting up more and more tech just for us to move house, and then it's more to dismantle and reassemble. Oh, it does not want to slide. Race 2 was realistically quite the cakewalk, even though the off-brand Porsche was giving us a bit of trouble on the back straight. We had far better acceleration and braking zones, so we could take advantage at the start of straights and on the approach to corners. Race 3 was going to prove a little bit of a different story at Tokyo, however. The S2000 and the not Porsche were both just handling way too well and maintaining far too much speed for us to compete with in the big Vauxhall Lotus brick. Oh, come round. Not quite. Mate, trying to keep up with these guys. Don't know if we can catch him. Just doesn't turn. I drove to the best of my ability and somehow managed to nurse back a second position, but it didn't matter too much. The championship was pretty much already in the bag. Whoa! It's just driving into me. The roof is having trouble. Again. He's struggling around here. Even slipstream isn't enough to catch him. Okay, it is, because he's just slowed down there. Whoa. Whoa! Drove me into the wall. I've been really civil with that AI. No more. Oversteer. It's quite funny though. Tsukuba went pretty much how I expected. Could have been worse though. Just not enough. Just not enough. It was once again time to bring out the Lotus Elise. Jumping straight into the NA races, it was time to visit Infineon Raceway. We were instantly greeted with a 189-point race. Would that be too difficult for us? Yeah, no. There was no challenge to be had here, to be honest. The races following on from the first one proved to be far more difficult, however. Not sure if I've got anything else to use this car for, so upgrading it feels a bit like a waste of credits, but it is what it is, we gotta do it. So we had to opt for a stage 1 weight reduction and a nitro upgrade. This proved more than enough to get the car in a position to win all of the following races. Oi! Yeah, hopefully X-Defiant is that FPS game. Or maybe just quitting it permanently, who knows. 3 laps around here, why? I'm at least hoping it'll be a good race. Too deep. The cornering speed, however. Hit the nitro to get us past. That is such a strange color, but I love it. Aquamarine? That's about the extent of my color knowledge, though. Everything else is just blue, green, yellow, gold. Always believe in your soul. Gold. Go. Come back. I'm miles ahead of everyone else. Probably going to get the maneuver done here. Well, we've acquired slipstream distance, but my word, look at him go. He drove into me. He's done it again. Alright, if you want to play it like that, buddy, leave you for dust. This handle's way better than even the S2000. Well, hard fought race, but the rest of the races literally had zero competition. I breezed past everybody at the start of the race. First corner, second corner, you name it, it was over. So I'm not going to show you that. Bit of a waste of time, really. But the races I did show were a lot of fun. I like it when it comes down to the last lap, comes down to the wire, that sort of thing. Games are more fun when the pressure is on, you know? Nah, come on. Already right behind him, give or take. I remember the days when a set of turbo races would be insanely difficult to win. Braked. Could have braked a bit later than that. How are you spinning off the track? You're not even going quickly. And here we have one of my favourite battles, a classic Lotus Esprit versus the Lotus Carlton. I guess they're both considered classics at this point. They're both over 30 years old. That's kind of crazy. Definitely one of my favourite battles in today's episode. Don't want to drive into him. Sort of toying with my food here, but look at the power of the Esprit. He was going a bit wide. Should carry far more speed through here than the Esprit. Oh, look at that gap now. That's really opened up the corner, but he goes straight into the wall, so it could always have been worse. Yeah, we got it in the bag. Lovely. Would you look at that? That is a nice looking RX-7. Beautiful car. And as standard practice dictates, I'm not going to highlight the rest of the races as they were way too easy and uneventful. And of course, with the turbo races done, we come across our second dilemma of the playthrough. There are no British cars with a boxer engine. Well, not in Gran Turismo 4 anyway. So with that in mind, I went down the path of curiosity. Have there ever been any British cars with boxer engines? And with a little bit of digging, I found out that the only British cars that have had boxer engines are from the 1940s. We do as well have a more recent vehicle known as the Climax CR1. I'd never heard of this car beforehand. I love the fact that this challenge has led me to learn a little bit more about British motorsport history, or just motoring history in general. You really can learn something new every day. Anyway, let's go make friends with the Germans and borrow one of their machines. Again, the game isn't completable without, unfortunately, buying cars outside of the challenge we've set, but it is what it is. I remember having a lot of trouble with this here race when I was using the, was it 22B Subaru? It can be a very different experience than a Porsche. I think Gran Turismo 2 will have to be the greatest of all time, or get the greatest of all time vote from me. There's so much versatility with that game. So many different amazing cars. Had a crazy lineup for the time. Introduced some of the greatest tracks in Gran Turismo of all time. Some of them to never be seen again in the game. In games beyond that. I'm on the controller. Bloody hell. This is emulated on PC, but it's a console game. There is no PC version of this, unfortunately, as Sony keeps all their games off PC generally. They're like Nintendo, evil, the bad guys of the gaming corporations. They make amazing games, just never put them on PC. We love a bit of no HUD gameplay. Fellow black car enjoyer. Oh, no idea how we didn't make contact. Contact? Ha. Oh no, that wasn't it. That was not the one. Honestly. Gonna end up in a lawsuit. Call me Johnny Depp. Alright, that's the box of Spirit races done. Now we can go back to the British cars. Not got much left to do, actually. This has been quite an easy challenge, apart from the fact we've not been able to actually only use British cars. So in that sense, we knew we were going to fail there, but you know, whatever. E-Type Jag. I'm going to mess around with the gearing because if we come up against a Buick Special, I'm going to have to drive like my life depends on it. So what we will do, we'll do minimal tuning options. So I think I'll be able to beat it with just this. Exiting and re-entering until we find the Buick Special. Oh, AC cars is there. No, that'll do. No, that is hard to beat as well. You're so hard to beat. 7-point race, but don't be fooled. And to be expected, the Cobra shot off into the distance right at the start of the race. There was absolutely no hope of us catching the Cobra naturally, especially as I forgot to turn off a lot of the driving assists in the menu. These slow you down heavily on corners, as you can probably notice. But all hope wasn't lost just yet. Yes, that's it, come on! Ooh, light bit of contact made, but... Whoa! He drove back into me, so it's fair, okay? I don't make the rules, I just enforce them. The body roll on this car is nuts. Come on, drag race, we're winning! Holy damn, what a race. Can't always get what you want. I didn't even see there was a Mercury Cougar. Whoops. Wasn't me. We're keeping with the Cobra. Oh. Especially when he drives like that, damn. Even with both those mistakes, he's still pulling away. Gorgeous car, though. Whoops. Slipstream, Nos. And a better run out of that corner, and we're still... He's still pulling away. However... we have the secret technique known as actually driving. Hold it, hold it, hold it. No, we didn't hold it. Well, once again beating the AC Cobra. Gonna need to drive with all I have to offer here. car's wanting to spin out. Yeah, just cannot keep up with this car. A sub 8-minute lap in an E-Type Jag is wild. Yeah. Oh wait, no, if I win this race, I win the championship. Cool. Big if true. Big if who? Asked. We did it! Says 7 points, but that was some of the toughest racing so far in the challenge. Oh yeah, catch me in the German whip. Alright, now to crack out the Ginetta for the classic, or not classic, but small car cup. Aww. Forgot to turn off the driving aids again. Oh, it has no brakes. If this car is lower down than a Yaris, it must be in the floor. Makes a Mini Cooper look like a fucking tank in comparison. Ah! I'm so glad. Right, can we pause for a second, actually? I just need to talk. I need to talk. I know I keep sharing this everywhere, but I'm so happy. I'm so happy with how the Gran Turismo 4 video is doing here. 8,000 views beating everything else. Call of Duty content being smashed out of the park. I haven't had a video do this in years. Wow, especially never with a game that isn't Call of Duty. It makes me so happy. Because all I want to do at the end of the day is entertain people. Share the passion, share the joy. Oh, Tokyo Drift Yaris out here. Hello, E-Tone. Conflicting hours. Of course, the Ginetta G4 absolutely wiped the competition in the World Compact Championship. It easily had some of the worst brakes on Gran Turismo 4 as a whole, but that doesn't really matter when you can go around corners at, well, pretty much max speed. Now it was time to finally tackle the Supercar Festival. Earlier on in today's episode, I already pretty much decided that I was going to be using the Lotus Carlton for it, to at least give it a try. I can't say I've ever used this car in the Supercar Festival, so I still find it quite funny that we've got a massive British Vauxhall brick with a monster engine to somehow keep on the road. Meanwhile, we'll be up against actual dedicated supercars with their slick, slim, minimalistic designs. I mean, the Carlton compared to a Ford GT makes the Carlton look like a monster truck by direct comparison. We're sliding everywhere! I don't know, this is kind of fun. Tokyo Drift. In this case, Korea Drift in Seoul. I'm trying to keep it straight. Just wants to slide everywhere. Oh! Well, we didn't die. We have much better brakes than they do. Yeah, oh no. The story of the Lotus Carlton getting robbed all those years ago and then used as a getaway car to do ram raids, to steal cigarettes and other stuff like that. The police could never catch it. Fun race, that. Whoa, wide boy Ford GT. And the Absolution. Don't go down the tuning rabbit hole is all I'm seeing. I like drifting far too much. Ouch. Well, that was the hardest race of the Supercar Festival so far. Straight away, it's not wheel spinning as much. Because the softs on the rear have more traction. Ah! Oh, I've always been a racing game fan, Brabs. Been playing them all my life. Like all these racing games I've been streaming, I've already played and completed dozens of times. Only thing is, I don't normally try and read chat whilst racing. So that's taken a bit of getting used to, and I need to start reading at times when... What are you doing? When I have a bit of time to do so. Yeah, I ended up building my viewer base around FPS games because that was what people were only interested in watching me do that, and I didn't have an idea of what sort of content I wanted to make in racing games and other genres and stuff. If you look on my channel, you can find a couple Gran Turismo 3 videos, a couple Rage Racer streams from many years ago. It's weird, because we're not sliding around as much. My front tires are burning. I'm glad I built up this lead early, because wow. Well. Supercars, get them out of here. Yuck. Okay, the finale, once again. I'm gonna go put some oil on this car and see if this has any chance at all. No Sauber Mercedes. And there's the Sauber Mercedes. Do we have a chance? Unlikely. Yeah, it's safe to say that the Gran Turismo World Championship won't be completable in the Lotus Carlton, especially not against the opponents that I promised. I promised to at least have one Minolta, Sauber Mercedes, or Pescarolo this time around, as many of you said that the previous opponents weren't difficult enough. Due to the forfeit rules as well, we're not allowed to use any of the race cars as previously promised, so we need to do some digging and find something better than the Carlton. I wonder if TVR has anything for us. But it wasn't over for the Carlton just yet. In the Japanese championships, you could enter any car into the JGTC. So, how well does the Carlton compete against Japanese racing legends? Surprisingly really well for the most part, although tyre wear is a major issue. Surprisingly, we did lose a few races and even came last in one of them. But this set us up financially for what was yet to come. Now, as we had a comfortable 1 million credits in the bank, it was time to go to TVR. I decided to be stingy and grab the cheapest one there, even though it was a convertible one. Can't say I'm the biggest fan of convertibles, but hey, every credit counts, right? We chucked a couple of light upgrades on, you know, standard practice by this point, and pitted it up against all that TVR has to offer. We faced a few speed 12s here and there, but they didn't do much of anything. Was that a sign of things to come? I mean, that is the prize car for this little Blackpool Racers festival after all. I mean, hopefully with a bit of luck, it's just the AI being terrible at driving. Or just terrible at driving the speed 12. We'll see. That was a very late lunge, but we got it done. Well, another race in the bag. Give me that speed 12, baby. Well, that's an interesting lime green looking sort of... After enjoying a complete walk in the park, racing against British glory, we won ourselves the Speed 12, the TVR Cerbera Speed 12. One of the finest cars and one I wish I can drive one day. It's never gonna happen, is it? But it's time to chuck every single upgrade possible on this car, which surprisingly isn't a lot. They kind of restricted a few of the upgrades, unfortunately. But I mean, considering we have 1100 brake horsepower on the car already, can't complain too much, right? Now begins the most interesting part of the challenge, finding a precise tune for this car that works. Fortunately for us, T. Kanji had already done a lot of experimentation and found one that worked pretty damn well. So we had to employ the gear ratio trick to get the gears as long as humanly possible. With the wrong gearing setup, this car can wheel spin even in 6th gear. Trust me, I've tried it a lot before. The Cerbera in Gran Turismo 2 had the same sort of problem. We also had to add about 80 kilograms of ballast on the rear. Oh yeah, we also maxed out the downforce as well. With all the details now fine-tuned, we can move on to qualifying. And believe me, we're going to need to. Super softs are on, let's go and try and qualify. Get away. This is some serious speed. Oh gosh! We only get to use first gear in the with super soft tires. They're the only ones that can actually handle without wheel spin. Well, that's the fastest lap I've ever done. In this car at least. Unfortunately, it seems Windows Update messed up my microphone settings for this stream. I didn't find out that it had happened until the stream was over, so looks like you'll be hearing more from post-stream me. Oh well. Unfortunately, due to a horrendous strategic error on my part, we opted for racing super hard tyres in the first race. Whilst yes, it meant that the tyres were going to survive pretty much the entire race, we could not keep up at all with the insane pace the AI cars had around the track. They just simply had too much downforce, and we weren't able to get the 1100 horsepower down effectively enough to take advantage of the speed difference. We are struggling on these corners.
Unbelievable! The queen is fading!
Ow! Getting bullied right now. Turn! Oh lord. We should just shoot past the Pescarolo on this straight here if we can get the car to turn. Here we come. We have to brake so early and we still punt him in the back. Minolta's pitting in. There's no chance we catch it. No chance. Super hards is not the strategy. Not for first place anyway. If that's even possible, probably not. Oh well, hindsight is 2020. We've kept the Merc behind us the whole way so far. Oh, that was a great lap. Did feel like it. Yeah, keeping it in second is the play then. So we nursed our way home to a 5th position. Yes, it could be worse, but you got to remember we have the oval next. Naturally, we have the advantage within qualifying as we have access to racing super softs, whereas the AI stay on mediums. Can we make this small advantage last within the race? I really don't think so. Please stop wheel spinning. There goes the Minolta. Nothing I could have done. Even the Peugeot wants some. Whoa! No! Tom! Mercedes went straight into the wall there in the review. Can we make this small advantage last within the race? I really don't think so. And unfortunately, that very much came true. Again, a similar issue, lack of downforce, not long enough straights to make use of all the power we have. Last position. So the first two races, 5th and 6th, that's a great start. Strangely enough, however, even though we have a Minolta in the field, the Peugeot 905 had won both races. We're gonna win everything from here on out, otherwise we do not have a chance. The Minolta only had 8 points so far, and now we're on to Hong Kong, one of my personal favourite tracks, one of the tracks with a heavy focus on technical driving ability, where racing lines truly could not be more important. The braking zones were going to be quite interesting because the brakes in the Cerbera Speed 12 just simply aren't that great. I think I'm just going to call it the Cerbera from here on out. And believe me when I say this, I was doing a lot of practice for this very race. The 3 days before the stream where I tackled this particular race, I practiced for an hour each morning, driving this car around the track. I wanted to win, and this car is not easy to tame. I mean, you can call it dedication, you can call it obsession if you like. I wanted to bring my A game to this challenge. 1:11. Believe it or not, I've gotten close to that lap time with hard tyres on, so... After setting the first place qualifying time, I made the mistake of exiting to go and get an oil change. Exiting out from races like this doesn't save your qualifying position. So I reloaded a save state, but unfortunately the game had auto-saved after the oil change. This meant that I had to do the race again, but considering we only managed the second position as the Minolta lunged straight past me, I'm not too fussed about that. The game allows you to save before a race and retry anyway.
Mission failed. We'll get them next time.
Oh, it didn't work, okay. I have to do that race again, whatever. Right now we know what we did wrong. Could definitely do with a little bit more ballast on the rear. And let's get some qualifying action done. With all the extra practice we'd gained, we brought home a sub 110 lap time. Yes, we're on super softs, but this is pretty damn good for the Cerbera if I do say so myself, especially considering it's Hong Kong. But to put this into perspective, this lap time is only a 1/10 of a second faster than my best lap time in the Toyota GT1. And you've got to remember that I was using racing mediums on the Toyota GT1 when I set the 108.8. This should give a little insight on how difficult the Cerbera can be to drive. Or at least shows that it's not quite an LMP car, is it? I mean, let's be real, nobody was under any illusion of that anyway. Mediums on the front, hard on the back. Jumping straight into the Hong Kong race once again, we had the Minolta bearing down behind us, as I'd opted for the medium front hard rear tyre configuration. This meant when turning into corners, the rear had a tendency to kick out slightly under cornering. Considering one of the big issues with the Cerbera is the fact that it doesn't really like to steer, this rear tendency was actually going to help us a little bit with cornering. Although if we did it too much, that would burn the hell out of our tyres a fair bit faster. But straight away we were starting to pull away from the Minolta and we dropped a 1:11 lap time. Clearly the practice had done us wonders. I was more aware of the braking zones we needed on the centre straight. Although we didn't quite perfect it, it was a lot better than what we did in qualifying, driving straight into the wall. Hey, we did a George Russell. We weren't able to use the nitro that well either, due to the fact that if you're in second gear and using it, even in the later power band of second, it would still cause wheel spin, and we just don't want to mess the tyres up like that. Now the pressure was on to maintain these consistent lap times to keep the Minolta behind me. But it seemed like we were pulling away about 1.5 seconds to 2 seconds per lap. I was becoming more comfortable with carefully testing the limits of the car and pushing it a little bit further each time. We didn't have a lot of room for error, so I needed to emphasize being careful, because a 5-second lead is absolutely nothing when you cater in how fast these cars are and how slowly we accelerate because of wheel spin. This was both a battle of mental fortitude and technical skill. But like I said before earlier in the episode, games are more fun when there's a bit of challenge and pressure on the player. I mean, it would be boring if everything was easy, right? Oh, sliding, that's unfortunate. That's gonna hurt the tyres in the long run. Doesn't hurt to be early on the brakes on that corner. Less fuel severely reduces tyre wear. That's fantastic news. This feels like a good lap so far. Wait, we're really pulling away from the Minolta now, what? Come on, 110. 110. Oh, bottom end of 110. Okay. So yeah, medium and hard tyres seems to be the play. Mediums on the front, hards on the back. They wear at about the same sort of rate. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. First win of the championship. Woo. Damn. Where does that put us? 5th position still. Oh no, 4th. Okay. Wait, why is the Peugeot in the... The Peugeot's leading? What did I miss? Was it because of the oval? Oh, what a race, man. What a race. Right, here is the interesting part, because I have no idea what I'm doing right now. Once again, standard practice, we jumped into the qualifying for the race at Seoul. To begin with, I had a bad feeling about going into this race. Seeing in qualifying how far ahead we got, it soon silenced any doubt I had in my mind. Tyres don't actually matter because it's qualifying. That's hella lucky. And this is a quick reminder about just how unstable this car can be. No, I think I'm gonna go medium on the front again and then hard on the back. Anyway, for everyone that's new to the stream, my name is James, otherwise known as The Gaming Definition, or TGD for short. I used to play first-person shooter video games, and now we're giving racing games a fair trial. And not too long ago, or earlier this month, no, that's last month actually. Okay, mid last month I posted a Gran Turismo 4 challenge video. Can I beat Gran Turismo 4 without any upgrades? And yeah, a lot of people seem to like it, so... Oh no. So I'm trying my hand at more challenges. We almost died to snap oversteer there. That was, that came out of nowhere. We have a lot of long straights on this track, so even if they do catch me in the corners, I should be able to keep up with them. A bit too early. Should come round. Just. Yeah, the Minolta's out for blood. Seoul was going so well for me, in fact, that I was within distance of lapping some of the back markers. This might be the sort of race where I can go onto super softs, maybe. Pit as late as possible, go for super softs. Just in case anyone gets past. Because this sort of track will render me able to do, I reckon, 4 laps, judging from how they were handling Hong Kong. How was that a good lap? What? I was all over the road. I don't have normal softs, only supers. We're just not quite going to have enough tyre wear to make it through to the super softs. If we had softs, that would have been the play. Oh, I'm sorry, Mercedes. What? Man's all over the road. Yeah, we're pitting. F it. Oh, now we're going to catch the Minolta. Look, he's only just overtaken me. No, we're fine. No need for risky strats. And with 6 laps remaining, we had a set of fresh mediums available to track down the Minolta. Oh, wait. It's all over. Ah, we win. The Minolta went in the pits. Easy. Let's go on to the next race, shall we? And new lap record on the final lap. Sweet. Really is crazy to me that we only finished best part of 2 seconds behind the GT1. Just like I said, give this car a track with straights, and the handling deficit doesn't really matter so much anymore. Oh my god. And right at the end of lap 1 of El Capitan, I made my first major mistake. Gaming challenges entirely with— oh no. Well. That's unfortunate. Gaming challenges with fun as the main focus. It won't stop sliding, please. This comment about the room in my Discord made me laugh quite a bit. And yeah, whilst we're talking about the Discord, the link to the Discord is in the description down below. It's a great way of interacting with the community, finding out when I'm going to be streaming and uploading videos, and just generally having a laugh. Boss really doesn't like the TVR. The fact we've got such bad brakes as well doesn't help. Anyway, let's bring the focus back to the racing. The rest of this race consisted of me hunting down the other cars that I was initially ahead of. We had a reasonable time getting past everybody, apart from the Minolta, who absolutely shot off miles into the distance. Trying to go around this guy, but... oh my god, look at that. That's speed! Rip. It's impossible to keep it from drifting on that hairpin. We're definitely faster than them, but we just can't get past. We were finally starting to make progress. It looked like the Minolta was going to be catchable, until disaster struck once again. So I quickly called in a favour with the doctor and borrowed his TARDIS to try this race once again. Second time around, I was more aware of how the car was going to handle the track. I knew to expect major instability at the end of the home straight. I was also aware that braking zones were really rough on the approach to many corners. This made all the difference, and you could tell straight away from the lap times. I managed to shave the best part of a second off of my best lap time from the previous race. But even with the second chance in hand, we still made another error. To be able to finish the race on a one-stop, I needed to swap over to hard tyres on the front. However, we didn't end up doing that, and it went from us looking like we were going to be able to catch up to the Peugeot 905 to that very much not even being a possibility. Oh wait, no, I lie. He pitted in on the last lap. Well, I guess now it's about holding off whoever the hell is behind me. If it's the Pescarolo, we are screwed. Both of my front tyres were absolutely screwed, but the front right was ready to say goodnight, completely fried, out of its mind, gone. There was no handling left to be had. When I wanted to corner, nothing happened. Pescarolo's bearing down on me. The car has already proven that it's a lot faster than the Pescarolo on the straights, but we have none to make use of right now. We're barely managing to get around easy hairpins at 30 miles per hour. And we get to the final straight, the Pescarolo is gone. I think there's a lesson to be learnt here when it comes to overconfidence with tyres. And now we headed over to New York. This track has at least 3 notable corners where you approach at insanely high speeds. Stopping definitely isn't the Cerbera's strong point, so... ouch. And the tune we have promotes a little bit of instability, especially considering we've intentionally done that because the car doesn't like to turn. The only problem is under heavy braking, well, you've already seen what's happened several times. At the end of the hot lap, we were 10 whole seconds ahead of the Minolta. Finally having access to a track with crazy straights was a blast. The only problem is because the brakes on the Cerbera are so bad, by the time we get up to about 220 miles per hour, we're having to hit the brakes already. It's almost comical how early we're having to brake, and it's really noticeable when one of the LMP cars or other race cars are in the rearview mirror. Hello. This race itself was very uneventful. Well, I say very uneventful. This happened. Right, tea break. What? Did you see it? If you didn't, that's no surprise, because blink and you'll miss it. Pit lane entrance speed too high. I've never seen this before. I suppose it's the fact that we entered at 174 miles per hour, and the Cerbera just has no brakes. The game wasn't able to slow us down enough so we could actually pit. Every other car I've done this in, it's not happened, so I can just assume that it is because of the bad brakes on the car. Very strange. And I have never seen this happen before. The amount of times I've bombed it at 200 miles per hour into the pits and never received this penalty before. I didn't even know it was in the game. But it was rather fortunate that we still had some tyre life on the front tyres. This led to one of the most awkward limps home possible. The lap ended up almost being a whole 20 seconds slower than my best lap time. But that slow lap time makes a lot of sense when you consider the racing consisted of drifting around corners like I'm playing Ridge Racer. I mean, look at this. People say you can't drift in Gran Turismo 4. Yeah, well, I raise you no rear tyres. That'll do it. Due to the extra time loss, it meant that the Minolta and the 905 shot straight past me. However, as we were one lap closer to the end of the race, we could afford to use medium tyres. Would this make all the difference required for us to catch up and get first place back? The first lap on the fresh set of mediums allowed me to catch up to the Minolta. We were even able to sneak a move on the straight before the final straight. This didn't last long though. The Minolta ended up shooting past me on the home straight. This is where we have the advantage though. Due to the mediums having better grip and better braking zones as a consequence, we were able to take a far better line into the following straight. I don't really know what the 905 was doing here, but AI fell asleep at the wheel. And after that, we had a smooth, uneventful ride home and bagged another podium in the Cerbera. That was a really fun race, apart from almost getting crucified. The Pescarolo and the Peugeot all tied at 30. That's crazy. Oh no. I'm scared. We've made it to Opera Paris, the one place where I just cannot get the pace down. It's going to be all about survival. We'd finally made it to the dreaded race 7, Opera Paris. After the shock surprise of seeing the Minolta, the 905 and the Pescarolo all tied at 30 points, we now had a 9-point lead on the opposition, but we'd arrived at what was expected to be the toughest challenge in the championship so far. Like I just said, we had nowhere really to put the power down other than the back straight. The rest of the winding bends, chicanes and corners would leave us stuck in the lower revs of Gear 2, because using Gear 1 just wouldn't be plausible. Not with the tyre compound we'd be opting for. Surprisingly, we finished qualifying 8 seconds ahead of the opponents. Can we maintain this position the full distance of the race? Doubts were starting to cloud my mind. We'd need more than driver skill here. We'd need more than power here. We'd need luck. But I'm just going to be fighting for my life around these corners and use the car's thickness to block people from getting past. Oh, we've got no traction. Whoa! Don't want to be sliding out just yet. We have no brakes compared to the LMPs. Oh, need these hards to warm up ASAP so I can actually get the power down. Humility, wasn't it? Not humility. I knew the word was close to it, but I find it kind of sad when people aren't proud of what they've created. Don't go around thinking you're God's given gift, but come on, man. You created something. You did that yourself. Enjoy it. Live a little. After that random speech about putting more appreciation on your own creations, towards the end of lap 3, we generated almost a 6-second lead. Much to my surprise, it was the Nissan R89 that was keeping up with us in second place instead of the usual hooligans. But even so, we generated a 6-second lead towards the end of lap 3. We set a couple back-to-back 1:15.5 lap times, and that just showed to me we were starting to develop an understanding of the track. Considering my super soft lap time was only a 1:13, we'd evidently made a massive improvement, but so had the AI. Second place was slowly starting to reel us in. We just weren't fast enough around the track. The fact that an opponent car that hasn't even been bothering us at all so far this championship is now catching us, that kind of says all you need to know. This car was struggling. I was struggling. As I expected, this course was throwing everything at us that we just simply weren't capable or equipped to deal with. Pitting in knocked us all the way down to 4th position, but so far I was the only car to pit in. So my main goal now was to drive cleanly and consistently and avoid the walls. Fortunately, the R89 and the Minolta pitted on the following lap from when I initially pitted. This allowed me to regain my position pretty much instantly, and now we just had to hope that the 905 wasn't going to do a no-stop. I could see the R89 right on my tail now though. That told me everything I needed to know. We were going a fair bit slower than the R89 now. We needed to find pace somewhere. We needed to be more consistent somewhere. But where? How? What more can we give when we're already pushing the car to its limits? The car doesn't turn. The car doesn't stop. We're on the approach to corners and we're almost going straight through them. Finally, a bit of luck. The 905 pitted in and we reclaimed first position. All we had to do was drive from here to the end of the race without making a mistake. Realistically, we weren't going to be pulling away from the Nissan. Second position was always going to be right behind us. But it doesn't seem like second position's ever going to be in a position to make a move. Tyres are gradually starting to wear now on the rear. Oh, there we go. Knocked 87 milliseconds off of the previous lap time. Sweet. I am speed. It's funny, looking at this, it seems like this championship's easy right now, but I can't make many mistakes. This genuinely takes a lot of my attention. We had finally made it to the final lap. Just as predicted, the gap was slowly shrinking between myself and the R89. From 7 seconds at one point all the way down to 5 once again. Yeah, sure, this wasn't that much, but when you take into consideration this was all over the course of one lap, and now my tyres, well, they've looked better.
Not great, not terrible.
Just hold it together for one more lap, don't make a mistake, get it home, bring it home. And so we did. Another first position. I never expected wins to be this rare. Qualifying in race 8 at Suzuka was hilarious. The super soft tyres died about halfway through the second lap, but somehow we managed the first position in qualifying. I'm pretty sure the AI is bugged, right? They never seem to do that well in qualifying. Take a shot every time you hear me say qualifying. Whew. We are going to have to limp our way around Suzuka though, because yeah, things aren't going so great here. 9 laps. Hard tyres till lap 7 and then super softs maybe? I forgot to change the nitro. Oops. Keeping them behind me as long as I can. Got a little bit of space, that soon's going to disappear. I'm surprised the Minolta's still in view. Woo. Oh my. Having to let off the accelerator around there is a crazy prospect. Woo! On the limit a bit there. Almost sending it into oblivion. Ding, ding, doo, 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 Oh, I felt the car going. Come on, man, you're so slow through here. However, we have something he doesn't have. Unlimited power! This is rough. Oh, he's nudging me out the way now. He's doing me around the outside. Wait! The cheek of it, mate. The absolute cheek of it. Despite making the odd mistake, we started off Suzuka relatively strong. I realised from the get-go that we just wouldn't be keeping up with the Minolta up front, so the goal instead was to try and maintain a consistent race. The Cerbera was putting up a lot of resistance during cornering. Nothing out of the ordinary, I must admit, but it was still catching me off guard as I tried to push the car harder and harder. When the opponent LMPs finally got their tyres warmed up, I just simply couldn't keep up during the corners. Braking zones as well made things very difficult. Yeah, this race was an absolute struggle. Yeah, sure, we'd shoot past them on the main straight and on the approach to 130R, but then with the colossal speed we had to try and brake somewhere. Due to poor judgment on my end, pretty much every single time we approached 130R, I overshot and almost lost control of the car. Fortunately, we avoided doing that, but we still lost a lot of time every lap. Because we don't own normal softs. Oh god. Every time. No. Bugger. Oh, we didn't spin out. That would have been disastrous. Oh no! Where the pit's at, bro? Well, at least we're not last. No. Never mind. Damn. We're leading by 9 points still. Okay, we're chilling. After a shocking performance at Suzuka, leaving us only 9 points ahead of the Pescarolo, we headed over to Grand Valley, where we really needed a better performance. So we got qualifying done and dusted, acquired first position, and prayed for a bit of luck to keep us in a decent racing position. And just like that, the penultimate race began. The Minolta shot straight past, with the R89 following closely behind. Even the AMG was somehow shooting past us. This was a horrible start for the Cerbera. It's normally pretty bad, but this is easily one of the worst ones so far. This is going to be one hell of a race. Wow, they're going so slowly. Mounting the curb in the tunnel ruined any chances of overtaking the R89 on the straight. If we were going to do anything this race, it had to be on the early laps. We couldn't allow the LMPs to gain an advantage before their tyres had warmed up, because then, well, it was very much over from that point on. We were following the leaders relatively well so far despite the mistakes, and you could see already it was quite the struggle. Sector after sector we were gradually creeping closer and closer to the R89, and every time we got within touching distance, he'd start to pull away again. It would just end in disappointment. We just didn't have enough to give. Not until we could release the borderline infinite horsepower on the straight. Look at it go. Whoa. We fought an extremely tough battle with the R89 and somehow just managed to get second position, but that wasn't going to last very long. Whoa, he punted me! With the right approach, we can take that corner flat out, pretty much. The curb upset the car. We likely would have held on going through there, but yeah. That Nissan is out for blood. After keeping the R89 behind us until midway through the third lap, a massive lunge from the Nissan left us in third position once again. The AI is completely unforgiving. They will not budge from their racing line. If you're braking in front of them, they will drive straight through you. And we already know the brakes on this car are terrible. There would be no chance of stopping if we got punted, so we had to let the R89 go. Eventually the R89's pace far exceeded our own and we just had to let him go. But now the 905 was knocking on the door. The 905 in question is one of the slowest race cars in the Gran Turismo World Championship, at least in a straight line. The 905 handles amazingly and has great tyre wear, but that's pretty much where it stops. Surely we'll keep it behind us, right? What could go wrong? Really? Oh no, guys, we got last position. What are we gonna do? Pretty much every single lap, I couldn't get the first corner correct. The approach velocity was always too much. We were hitting the curb, unsettling the car, doing something wrong, and just leading to time loss and quickly visiting the beach at Grand Valley. Once again, I found myself in a familiar 5th position. We're not going to have 5th place 2 races in a row, no chance. It was very, very clear that the Pescarolo was handling each and every corner far better than us. But at the same time, the Pescarolo had only just pitted, so they were still on blue tyres. This meant that we had a marginal pace advantage, because the AI just simply isn't good with cold tyres. Even though the fronts on the Cerbera were worse for wear, we somehow managed to clinch a 4th position. Result? Not the worst result in the world, but you know. There we go. 54 to 48. But now it all came down to this. The final race. I now only had a 6-point lead on the Minolta. Let's assume the worst for a second. The Minolta gets first place this race. I statistically couldn't drop below 2nd place. Here's my goal for this race. Here's what I need to do to win. If the Minolta came first and I came 2nd, we'd win by 2 points, with us having 60 and the Minolta having 58. Considering how tough the races had been the entire way here, I'm surprised we were even in 1st position to begin with. And so we entered into what might just be the final qualifying session of this challenge, or at least this very episode here. But you could already tell the pressure was on. We bottled it first corner, once again visiting the beach, this time of the Della Sarf variety. Yes, I know I probably butchered that pronunciation, but I haven't looked it up, okay. Could I get a pole position in qualifying and get us one step closer to bringing home the championship? Well, much to my surprise, even though this was the Mulsanne straight with the chicanes, we were still able to make use of the blistering straight line speed and bring home a pole position. Now let's see if we can maintain that pace in the final race. Here it is, ladies and gentlemen, what you've been waiting for. Quite possibly this will be the finale of the video. Can a maxed out Cerbera Speed 12 overcome Le Mans' greatness, finally at Le Mans? It's been a crazy long grind to get here. Let's try and not bottle it now. Passing the Dunlop Bridge, still in 1st position, having not gone off into Tatooine. As long as we're not providing slipstream for the Minolta down the home straight here, or the main straight. We are more than chilling. Whoa. We're getting a comfortable lead already. This car is insane. Almost messing it up on that corner, but I don't even know what it's called. We finally reached the portion of the track that was the Cerbera's biggest pitfall. This car hated the Porsche curves. Any distance I'd put between myself and the opponents during the rest of the track was completely lost through the Porsche curves. We were so slow through here. Setting a 3:23 for the first lap, we were only 4.6 seconds ahead of the Minolta. Seeing this evidently rattled my nerves a bit as we almost visit Tatooine once again. Or the beach, as I've been referring to in the post commentary. Right at the end of lap 2, I completely overshot my braking zones and unintentionally cut the chicane. Don't get me wrong, as a kid I used to do this all the time, but now as we're entertaining a challenge, I'm trying to race cleanly and properly. So how about we add an imaginary 5-second penalty? I think that's reasonable. That gap is really opening up. Do I do the no stop? Do I not? We had just over a lap to go and a respectable 12-second lead built up between myself and the Minolta. I was too focused on deciding whether or not to go for a no stop, and it almost ended in disaster. Fortunately, I was light enough on the steering to slowly guide the car back onto the tarmac and not spin out. This is one of the few times where the stiff steering on the Cerbera actually came in handy. After visiting Tatooine once again and unfortunately upsetting Anakin Skywalker, we finally decided to go for the super soft tyres. We also had a brief moment of unimaginable luck. The Minolta had pitted in right behind us. All the pieces of the puzzle were slotting into place. Victory was all but assured. Surely nothing would go wrong to steal this away from us, right? The rest of this race should be easy. For the ultimate victory lap. Hey Zvox, welcome on a new account, man. Sorry to hear about your previous one. Yeah, looks like we'll be catching the Nissan. Got a lot of nitro, only 9 seconds behind him. He's within sight. Damn. Car is a bit slidey on the super softs. That's not expected at all. We've caught him so much. Here we go. Here we go. Creeping death. Oof. That was terrifying. Now keep him behind through the Porsche curves. Oh, he made a massive mistake. Almost going sideways. Oh, what a challenge this has been. This has been so much fun, and I literally cannot wait to get on with editing this. But at the rate of video production right now, this will be out sometime late October, maybe even mid-November. Ladies and gentlemen, can you complete Gran Turismo 4 in mostly British-only cars? Yes, you can. Doesn't even have to be the Bentley speed. It can be a road car tuned to maximum, requiring maximum attention. Celebratory swig of the tea. Shall we have a quick look at the final standings? Let's get my face out of the way. 64 points. Oh, damn. Beating a Minolta in a Cerbera Speed 12. I genuinely didn't think this would be possible when I was practicing for this, but, you know. Here we are. There we are. Fan-dabby-dozy. Finishing with over 1 million credits. Cheeky. And we didn't have to do the money strat this time around. Money! Alright, give me the movie. And the Ford GT. Movie time, ladies and gentlemen. Does it have the music? It doesn't have the music because we have music off. This is so awkward. Insert bottom gear joke here again. Well. Wow. And just like that, another game challenge playthrough comes to an end. I poured my absolute heart and soul into this video, and it's been over 3 weeks of editing, planning, you name it, not including the time spent on stream recording all of this. The amount of footage, commentaries, and whatever else that I've scrapped over the editing process, of editing this video has been absolutely insane. If you all enjoy this sort of content, a like goes a long way. Not only that, if you want to help support this sort of content even further, a great way of doing that is by becoming a YouTube member. We seriously need to update the names of these tiers. They're all FPS related. I was going to say you can support the channel for as little as 99 pence a month, but giving any sort of money to a creator, streamer, or anything like that is a lot of money. The fact that you are taking the time out of your day to give your hard-earned money to someone on the internet, that has always to me been a crazy prospect. And a quick channel update for all of you. For anybody that's already familiar with the channel, I won't be playing the new Call of Duty game. However, I did recently play through a FPS game on Twitch and completed it, give or take a couple of moments, without firing a single bullet. It was on maximum difficulty and it wasn't easy whatsoever. I will be doing a FPS style video in a similar format to what I've done here, with the odd bit of commentary here and there, a couple of edits now and again, and just trying to spice up the gameplay and make it more entertaining for you all. Once again, thank you all very much for this opportunity to try new things. It's great having so many new faces joining the channel, considering I've very much been stuck in Call of Duty for a long time, and making content on stuff that's been absolutely destroying me mentally. So having the opportunity to branch out and revisit video games I used to love and still love even to this day, it's a lovely experience. And I'll be fully transparent with you. The more money I make from creation on YouTube and all that sort of stuff, the more time I can free up for this sort of thing. Everybody knows money is unfortunately the driving force of the planet. Everybody needs it. But let's put it this way. Without all of your generosity, I wouldn't be able to spend as much time on videos as I do these days. And I've got a newfound respect for people that make this sort of content a lot. At a push, 2 to 3 videos a month seems to be the maximum. And that pace might improve as I, well, generally improve at making these videos, but I don't want to end up rushing them. I never want it to become like my Call of Duty content, and a lot of my older videos where it very much became the same format every time, no adaptation whatsoever, and you can pretty much predict the video's outcome each time. One last thing before we go, please comment some challenge ideas down below for future Gran Turismo playthroughs. I have a couple of ideas in mind, but it's always healthy to have a few more. Thanks for watching, guys. I do appreciate it. If you made it here, feel free to tell me your favorite car in the comments down below. Mine has to be the Bathurst RX-7. Oh, they're beautiful. And on that note, take care of yourselves, have a great one, and I'll see you in the next video, whatever that may be. Yes, we've made it to the best part of the video once again. An absolutely massive shout out goes out to all of my YouTube members. The fact that so many of you have stayed pledging money to me even though we've transitioned to completely new content. I can't find the words. I don't have the articulation skills to show appreciation to the degree that I want to, but I genuinely really do appreciate it. And of course, once again, an extra special thank you goes out to NRTX Dragon, Nexit, and the Because at the God Mode tier. You guys are crazy. Have a good one, stay safe, take care, and I'll see you in the next video.